So the last lecture we had finished with this particular concept, that whether an SCR will be in blocked condition or latch condition at a particular value of the device current will depend whether the SCR is already on and is going through the turn off process, or whether it is blocked and it is going through the turn on process. Now we'll take the discussion ahead.
Sir, what is the difference between conduction and latched?
Okay, so what is the difference between conduction and latched? So the main difference between a conducting SCR and latched SCR is that in a conducting SCR, it conducts a non-zero value of current, but that value of current is less than the latching current. And in case of a latched SCR, again the SCR is conducting, but the value of the device current is greater than a critical value called latching current. The difference between these two statuses is that a conducting SCR will also show a device drop of 0.7 to 1 volts, and a latched SCR will also show the same drop 0.7 to 1 volts when a voltmeter is connected between ammeter and when a voltmeter is connected between the anode and cathode terminals. But the main difference between the two is that when you remove the gate drive, that is, you make Ig is equal to 0, then the SCR will return back to the block state if it is conducting, and if you remove the gate drive, that is make Ig equal to 0, in case of a latched SCR, the SCR will not return to the block state. In essence, the only difference between a conducting SCR and a latched SCR is that in a conducting SCR, the gate terminal has control over the device, while a latched SCR, the gate does not have any control over the device. So when I say that in a conducting SCR, the gate is having control it means that when I apply the gate current with a value greater than IGT, then SCR starts conducting a non-zero current, and the drop across the SCR shows 0.7 to 1 volts. And as soon as I remove the gate drive, that is make gate current equal to 0, SCR again gets blocked. That is, the device current becomes 0 and the drop across SCR now equals the applied voltage because it acts as an open switch. On the other hand, if you remove the gate drive in a latched SCR, then after removal of gate drive, that is, even if you make Ig equal to 0, then SCR's drop continues to remain 0.7 to 1 volts and it continues to conduct the current. That means what? There is no change in the value of device current and there is no change in the value of the device drop in case of a latched SCR. Is this clear? Whoever asked? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you will be able to appreciate my statements when you come to the lab. Actually, I'll show to you that, okay, fine. Now see, the device current ammeter is showing a value of 2 milliamperes and the SCR drop is 0.7 volts. And then what I will do, I will remove the gate drive and I will show you that as soon as I remove the gate drive, the device current becomes 0 milliamperes from 2 milliamperes and SCR's drop now returns from 0.7 volts to 15 volts if applied voltage is 15 volts. And then I will show you the latch condition, wherein again I will show that, see, now the device current ammeter is showing a value of 11 milliamperes and the drop is 0.7 volts. Then when I remove the gate drive in the circuit, you will see that the ammeter reading continues to remain same and the device drop also continues to remain 0.7. What I want to basically show with this by this exercise is that the gate terminal is not having any control over the device. That is a simple definition. So if you want to, that is why if you have referred to my video, so 5th February video I have uploaded on YouTube, and if you see the thumbnail of my video, one of the points is acid test for a latched SCR. Acid test means what? If the SCR passes this test, you can for sure say that the SCR is conducting or it is latched. Is it okay? So let's wait for practicals to begin, where I will show to you what I said just now. Okay. So now today's agenda is as follows. First is types of gate triggering. Second is VI characteristics of an SCR, and we will solve some numericals also. Okay, fine. So before we classify the types of gate triggering, I just thought that we should also define what is gate triggering. So somehow whatever we have discussed till now, we can just summarize all those important concepts and put them down as the one single definition of gate triggering. So I define gate triggering as follows. Gate triggering refers to the application of a positive potential at the gate with respect to the cathode terminal such that the resulting value of gate current Ig is greater than or equal to the gate threshold current with an aim to latch the SCR at values much lesser than the breakover voltage while ensuring that the device current IA is greater than IL. Okay, this is like a very concise definition of what do you mean by gate triggering. So gate triggering refers to application of a positive potential at the gate with respect to the cathode terminal such that the resulting value of gate current Ig is greater than or equal to the gate threshold current, with an aim to latch the SCR at values much lesser than the breakover voltage, that is 600 volts, while ensuring that the device current IA is greater than IL. Now understand one thing, that the potential applied at gate with respect to cathode must compulsorily be positive in nature, because we aim to break down the reverse bias junction J2, or we want to basically nullify the reverse bias posed on the junction J2 from the input Vin. Okay, so now when I say positive potential, it can mean a DC potential or an AC potential or even a pulse potential. Now this particular limitation or this particular condition on the potential at gate with respect to cathode, that is VGK being positive, now takes us to three different possibilities. That is, what are the different types of gate triggering. So now types of gate triggering is three. Okay, so we say that gate triggering can be classified into three. The first is called as DC triggering. Second is called as AC triggering. And third is called as pulse triggering. Okay. So gate triggering is classified as DC triggering, AC triggering, and pulse triggering. And we will draw circuits which exemplify all three types of triggerings. We will discuss which triggerings should not be used and which triggering should be used and why. Okay, so now first we draw the circuit which exemplifies DC triggering, followed by a circuit which exemplifies AC triggering, and third circuit which exemplifies pulse triggering. So DC triggering, the circuit can be drawn something like this. Just see how I develop the diagram. Okay, so let us define DC triggering. That in case of DC triggering, the basic definition would be that DC potential is applied at gate with respect to cathode. Okay, and second thing is that VGK is greater than 0, that is positive. And third thing is that the gate current has to be kept greater than gate threshold current. And fourth imposition is that the value of the load resistor should be such that it ensures that the device current IA is greater than IL. Okay. In case of AC triggering, we can again say that AC potential is applied at gate with respect to cathode. Again, VGK should be greater than 0. It should ensure that the gate current is greater than equal to gate threshold current. And again, as usual, the value of load resistor should be such that it should allow IA to be greater than IL. In case of pulse triggering, what is done is that a voltage pulse of appropriate amplitude and duration is applied at gate with respect to cathode, and all remaining conditions are as shown besides. Okay, so in DC triggering, a DC potential is applied, AC triggering AC potential is applied, and in pulse triggering voltage pulse is applied. But the important care to be taken is that the voltage pulse should have the appropriate amplitude and also the duration. Okay, otherwise everything is same. So now let us draw the circuit showing DC triggering. And kindly note that the circuit which I'm going to draw to show DC triggering is actually exactly the circuit which we are going to use in the lab in our first experiment, that is SCR characteristics. So here in DC triggering we have the SCR. Anode, cathode, gate. Okay, now here we have our load resistor RL, and it is applied to a battery. So this is a variable source. It is called as E in. This is my load resistor RL. And in the gate side, I have another supply which is smaller in value. So I am showing only one plate in the battery, while I am showing two plates in the battery E in. Here. Okay. And here I am using a variable resistor so that I can vary the value of gate current. Okay. This is called as a gate resistor RG, and this is my EG supply. Okay, so EG represents the gate voltage. We have a variable resistor RG. Okay, we have the load resistor RL, and we have the input voltage E in. Now anode, cathode, and gate. So this is my gate current IG, and you know that SCR is a unidirectional device. That means the current will flow always from anode to cathode. That is why if we know that the current will flow always from anode to cathode, that means this and this have to be the device current. Okay, so this is the device current IA. Okay, so the device current IA, gate current IG, and this will be my device drop. So my device drop will be measured between anode and cathode terminals and denoted as VAK. Okay, So now here I should keep the value of Rg such that Ig is greater than Igt. So we can write it that value of Rg is set such that Ig is greater than or equal to Igt. Okay. Now students, let us assume that I have set the value of Ig greater than Igt. So what will happen? Since Ig is greater than or equal to Igt, the SCR will latch at value E in much lesser than VBO. Okay, so because I'm applying a gate drive here and that gate drive is sufficient, that means sufficient gate drive means the gate current Ig is greater than or equal to Igt. So SCR will latch at a value of E in much lesser than breakover voltage, that is 600 volts. Now understand one thing is that since SCR is latched, gate loses all control over the device. Next important thing is that the gate current is no longer required once SCR is latched. Okay, so once the SCR is latched, the gate current is no longer required, because the only purpose of having or applying a gate current is to latch the SCR at values less than 600 volts. I repeat, the only purpose of applying the gate current with a value greater than the gate threshold current is to latch the SCR at values of battery potential E in much lesser than 600 volts. So now once the SCR is latched, you don't need the gate current at all, but still it continues to flow. So still the gate current continues to flow inside the gate terminal, leading to unnecessary gate power dissipation. So we can make a comment here that in the above circuit, Ig continues to flow into the gate terminal, leading to unnecessary gate power dissipation, leading to unwanted gate power dissipation. This is the drawback of the circuit, that in the above circuit, Ig continues to flow into the gate terminal, leading to unwanted gate power dissipation. That is why we conclude, hence DC gate triggering is never used. Okay, so we can conclude that DC gate triggering is never used. Okay, now we see the circuit for AC triggering. As we said, in AC triggering, instead of a DC potential, an AC potential is applied to the gate, but the circuit is little different. Okay, Again, the setup remains the same, but it's little different. I will show you how. So again, our SCR is as usual here. Let us show the terminals, cathode, anode, and we have the gate. The load side, in the sense the high power side, remains the same. We have the RL, and okay, there is a little twist in the circuit. The load resistor is always connected between the source and the load, or in series with it. So now instead of applying DC input E in, we have an AC input E in. Okay, so this is my power circuit. Okay, so this is my power circuit. So this is my single phase AC 230 volts RMS 50 hertz source. This is my load resistor, and naturally this is my anode current, or the device current IA. Now what I do is that, understand one thing, that gate is a weak terminal. So I can say something that anode comma cathode are high power terminals, and gate is electrically weak terminal. Okay, now another thing about gate is that gate needs a very small voltage and very small current in order to break down the junction J2. Okay, so there is no point applying this single phase AC 230 volts directly here. It's not needed at all. You don't need so much voltage and current, so why to waste it? So what we do instead, we will step down this single phase AC and then apply it to the gate. Okay, so what I do is this, is that I use a step down transformer like this. And then I use a current limiter and apply it like this. Okay, so now this becomes my VGK. So this is my VGK, which is a step down version. So I can say this is a N:1 transformer. It's a step down transformer. This is my RG, this is variable. Okay, again we see here that there is gate current flowing here IG, but only difference is that it is now an AC current and here it is a DC current, right? So here my IG is DC and here it is AC. Okay, so again this circuit although will latch the SCR, but it will again have the same problem that once the SCR is latched, it does not need the help of gate current, but still the gate current continues to flow because gate current IG is derived after stepping down the source voltage Vs. Okay, so again we can write down the same comments here, that although SCR latches with IG being AC, still this technique suffers from drawback of unwanted gate power dissipation. Okay, this technique suffers from drawback of again unwanted gate power dissipation. So what is the conclusion? The conclusion is that AC triggering is also not used. Now let us speak about pulse triggering, which is always preferred. Okay, so here so let us make some important points why pulse triggering is preferred. Now I had made a comment here that in pulse triggering a pulse of appropriate amplitude and duration must be applied. Now why I say appropriate amplitude is, see here that SCR is a charge coupled device. Second thing is that in order to push certain amount of charges into the third layer, which is the third layer of SCR, P1, N1, P2, into the third layer P2 of the SCR, the pulse applied to the gate with respect to cathode must have a certain amplitude. Now we also know that simply having gate current greater than IGT is not sufficient. The current flowing through device also should exceed the latching current value. Now third thing is that since the pulse is applied for a very small duration, this duration must be greater than the turn on time of SCR. Turn on time of SCR, right? That is why, this is the reason why I told you that the pulse which is applied to the gate should have an appropriate amplitude and appropriate duration. Why appropriate amplitude? So that sufficient charges are pushed into the layer P2 of the SCR. And why sufficient duration? Because SCR takes some non-zero time to go from block state to the latch state, or to go from off to the on condition. Okay, so all of you know that be it be any semiconductor device, even if it is a MOSFET or a BJT or even a diode, all the semiconductor devices exhibit a non-zero turn on and a non-zero turn off time. All of us know that. We have heard this, we have studied this, we have even seen this also, right? So every semiconductor device takes some time to turn on and takes some time to turn off. So all semiconductor devices have non-zero turn on and turn off time. So to encompass or to accommodate the turn on time of the SCR, the pulse which is applied must have a sufficiently large duration, although small, but it should be large enough to accommodate the turn on time of SCR. Okay, this is the significance. So certain amplitude, because certain amount of charges must be pushed into the third layer P2 and it should have a duration which is greater than turn on time of the SCR. Getting me? That is why in order to show pulse triggering, we usually use this thing. Okay, so we say the SCR is pulse triggered. So we usually show it like this. We have this SCR. We have the cathode. We have the anode. And we have the gate. Okay, and we usually show it like this. It's called as pulse triggering. Okay, so this particular pulse must be applied in between the gate and the cathode. So VGK is now a pulse. Okay, so we can also tell like this. We can, this is a pulse. So this is called as a pulse width TP, and this is called as the pulse amplitude. So usually amplitudes having pulses having amplitude about 5 volt is sufficient, and this duration should be greater than the T on of SCR. Okay, the pulse width should be greater than T on of SCR. Okay, this is the first requirement. The second requirement is, this requirement actually forms the basis of solving numericals on SCR. Second is that the TP value should be such that if the load is inductive in nature, if the load is inductive in nature, it should allow the device current IA to reach the value IL. This is very important. Getting means there are two conditions. This condition is very important. So while we said that the width of the pulse applied to the gate should be greater than the turn on time of SCR, the second requirement is that the width of the pulse should be such that if load is inductive in nature, then it should allow the device current IA to reach the value of IL, because inductor opposes the change in value of current through it. So here in our circuits we have shown RL as resistive. Okay, the load is resistive in nature here, the load is also resistive in nature here, but in case if there is a inductor in series with RL, then the current will show some lag, the current will show some exponential increase according to the time constant. It's very, very important for you. Got a point? So somebody may say, sir, can you show practical demonstration of pulse triggering? Yes, we can show. Very simple is that we have to just add one switch in this circuit. Okay, so what I will do is that I will copy this circuit and show it to you. Okay, same circuit as above, students. There is only one difference. I will convert this DC triggering circuit into a pulse triggering. See what I do. simply add a switch here. Okay, so now how do I demonstrate the power of pulse triggering? Is simple. What I do is, step number 1, close the switch S, change the value of potentiometer RG till SCR gets latched. So some change here. Change the value of RG to increase it. Keep noting the value of IG. So what I'll do, students, is I will add one ammeter in this circuit. Okay, I'll add an ammeter in this circuit now. Okay. I will add a milliammeter in circuit with this polarities, and this ammeter is going to indicate the value of gate current. Okay, so keep noting the value of IG till SCR latches. The next step is, once so keep noting the value of IG till SCR latches. That is basically we are trying to find the value of gate threshold current IGT. So once IGT is known, increase IG slightly above IGT and stop increasing it. Okay, so now value of IGT is known. So now what we will do is open the switch S. So I open the switch S. So what will happen if I open the switch S? The gate current will become 0 because circuit is open now. So as soon as I open the switch S, the gate circuit becomes open and the gate current now becomes 0. Now the next important thing is that commutate the SCR. Commutate the SCR, that is, either you can commutate means basically it is turn off. So just like turning on of the SCR is called as firing, then turning off the SCR is called as commutation. So to commutate the SCR in two ways, either reverse bias the SCR. So when you reverse bias the SCR, what happens is that the anode current IA value will fall below holding current. Okay. To reverse bias the SCR, so no, not like that. So either you can reverse bias the SCR, so it immediately it will commutate, or second option is that make the device current IA lesser than the holding current value IH. How can you do this? You can do this by making E in equal to 0. Okay, so if I reduce this E in below, and when E in almost becomes 0, so what happens is that if you reduce E in, then IA also goes on reducing. Okay, so the device current IA is being sourced by the battery E in. That is, when you reduce the value of E in, then the anode current goes on reducing. So E in reduces, thereby reducing IA, and at a particular value of E in, what will happen is that IA will become equal to IH. Furthermore, what will happen is IA will drop below IH, and this will lead to turning off of the SCR. We know that the turn off condition for SCR is the device current should fall below a critical value called holding current. So commute the SCR, that either reverse bias SCR or make IA to fall below IH by making E equal to 0. So commute the SCR. Then what you do is again increase the value of E in. So students, kindly note that E in is usually kept as low as 30 volts and EG is usually kept as low as 8 volts. So 8 volts and 30 volts are the operating voltages in a SCR circuit where we are going to apply the gate drive, right? So E in is kept at 30 volts. So again increase the value of E in to 30 volts. So now E in equal to 30, the gate drive is not applied. That means what? This much E in is insufficient to latch the SCR. So we are going to apply the gate drive. So now in order to apply the gate drive, I am not going to continuously keep the switch on, but I will just switch it on and again put it off. So again increase the value of E in. So since E in is equal to 30 volts, which is less than 600 volts or VBO, SCR will remain blocked. Okay, why? Because gate drive has not been applied. Now this is the step which will give a demonstration of pulse triggering. So very quickly close and open the switch S. And this is what we observe in the lab, that if you very quickly close and open the switch S, it is functionally same as applying a pulse. Okay, so very quickly, if I close and open the switch S, it is functionally same as applying a pulse, and SCR is seen to get latched. SCR is seen to get latched. So wait for your lab turn to come and remind me to give a demonstration of pulse triggering in the very circuit in which we are using DC triggering, that is here. Okay, so very quickly close and open the switch S. It is functionally same as applying a pulse, and we see that the SCR is seen to get latched. Okay, yeah. So now we have 5 more minutes. This can be taken as homework, which we will solve tomorrow. Okay, so it's a numerical for you. volts, 1 kilo ohms.
तुम्हाला सचिन रिक्वायरमेंट पाठवलेली नसती ते एमएस टीम च्या ऑफिस एमएस स्टार एचआर आहे सगळेच प्रॉब्लेम आहे ना सॉरी सर
Okay, so here we have a circuit, we have an SCR. It's given that the on-state voltage drop is 1.5 volts, the on-state resistance is 1 ohm, the load resistance is 1 kilo ohm, and it is given that the datasheet value for the latching current is equal to 50 milliamperes. Okay, so the question for you to solve is, will SCR become latched in the above circuit? If answer to the above question is no, find the limiting value of load resistor to ensure latching. Okay, so this is a homework for you. It's very simple.